Yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check from the chest. Not a bit of conflict, so someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard. Those in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because they agendas are disguised too. I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifted. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello again, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Lie Intellect. We're back. You know, we had a little moment because my daughter kind of lost her tooth. She didn't even lose her tooth yet. She don't want to pull it out. But nonetheless, we are back because while we were on talking about Demore Hadley and Rock Nation and Desiree Perez and all the other 19 people or whoever amount of people that were in the complaint, New York AG Leticia James was indicted by the Justice Department. I said, wait, what? I thought there was a situation where nobody wanted to bring the charges. I just heard that last week. Well, apparently that has changed and she has been indicted over there in Virginia. Yes, Kay, I will be filing the Milagro case. I've done updates on the Milagro case, I think maybe a membership. But yeah, that is a case I'll be following as well. They are about to go to trial on that case. I believe it's November 17th. So yeah, we'll be on it. Paul is, I'm so angry. Yeah, I was a bit. Yeah. Dr. 2 Esquire said vindictive prosecution. Couldn't have said it no better way. That's what it feels like. Apostle Dr. Gray said, unbelievable. Okay, said, oh, good. I'm looking forward to your input and legal expertise. Yeah, I'm going to be on there. Like I said, I've done a few videos on Milagro. I think they're out on the regular platform. Sometimes I forget what's in the membership, but I believe originally the lawsuit is, yeah, I think so. So check it out if you haven't checked it out already. But yeah, I'll definitely be covering that. Miss HLS, good to see you. I missed you on the last live. So I think you were one of the ones cared about Demore and them. So when you get a chance, make sure you watch the video. Go in and say, hey, Pam, hey, Intellects, we back. We back at it. You said I'm tight. Yeah. It's bad. Vegan Bay said SMH. I think that's what we all doing, honey. I think that's what we are doing. So what does this indictment look like? I'm glad you asked. Let's pull it up. General allegations. Leticia A. James was a resident of Brooklyn, New York, and the borrower on a Fannie Mae-backed mortgage loan for a property located on Perone Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia. OVM Financial, also known as Old Virginia Mortgage, and Annie Mae was a mortgage lending company located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, engaged in the business of originating and underwriting residential mortgage loans, including those backed by the Federal National Mortgage Association. OVM Financial qualified as a financial institute within the meaning of 18 U.S.C. Section 2010. Fannie Mae was a federally chartered corporation that purchased and guaranteed mortgages, operating as a government-sponsored enterprise under the oversight of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, or the FHFA. First Saving Banks was a state chartered FDIC-insured financial institution headquartered in Jeffersonville, Indiana, which acquired mortgage loans through assignment or acquisition. First Savings Bank qualified as a financial institution within the meaning of 18 U.S.C. Section 20 sub 1. On or about August 17th, 2020, James, as a sole borrower, purchased the 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom property located at 3121 Perone Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia, That's the Perone property for approximately $137K and financed with a mortgage loan of approximately $109,600. The loan was originated by OVM Financial under assigned second home writer, which required James as the sole borrower to occupy and use the property as her secondary residence and prohibited its use as a time sharing or other shared ownership arrangement or agreement that requires her either to rent the property or give any other person any control over the occupancy or use of the property. Despite these representations, the Perone property was not occupied or used by James as a secondary residence and was instead used as a rental investment property, renting the property to a family of 3. This misrepresentation allowed James to obtain a favorable loan term not available for investment properties, including a note rate of 3%, avoiding a 0.815% higher comparable investment property rate of 3.815%. So you saying she just saved this little bit of a percentage, resulting in approximately $17,837 in rate savings over the life of the loan. Y'all playing, right? I thought she was going to qualify for 15%, and then they said this is a quick way for you to move it down to 3% by, saying you occupying it or it's your second residence, and then, instead of the rental property. So they saying she saved $17,837 over the life of the loan. For a total, then they said exceeding the seller credit for investment properties by approximately $1,096 for total ill-gotten gains of approximately $18,933 over the life of the loan. How many months, years was this loan supposed to be? She purchased it in 2020. James Universal Property Application for Homeowners Insurance indicated owner occupied, non-seasonal use, further misrepresenting the penalties of perjury, treating the Perone property as rental real estate, reporting fair rental days, 0 personal use, days, thousands of dollars in rents received, and claiming deductions for expenses related to the property, further contradicting the second home classification. So instead of her saying this is her second residential home, they are alleging this was a rental property of which she didn't even save a full percentage. And then she still put this rental property down on her taxes as obviously an investment amount. So she wasn't trying to hide it because she put it on her taxes on how much she was making because it was considered a rental property. The loan was acquired by or assigned to First Savings Bank on March 2021, exposing it to risks associated with the misrepresented loan. The acts described herein occurred within the Eastern District of Virginia. Count 1 is bank fraud. From on or about August 7, 2020 through at least January 2024 in the Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere, the defendant, Leticia James, did knowingly execute an attempt to execute a scheme and artifice to defraud OVM Financial and First Savings Bank financial institution and to obtain monies, funds, and credits owned by and under the custody and control of OVM Financial and First Savings Bank by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. The scheme involved falsely representing the Perone property as a secondary residence to obtain favorable mortgage terms while using it as an investment property with no intended or actual personal occupancy or use later. Y'all got to be playing with me right now. You said it's choppy. Can you guys hear me better? I don't have my microphone on. Can you hear me better? No, I don't have the mic on at all, so I'm just using the computer. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. Y'all can hear all of my flabbergasted reactions. Hold on. It might be my internet too. I know people were having issues with this today, but I wasn't having issues earlier, so I don't know. No, I got the mic working pretty well. It's better? Okay. Tracy says, so they want me to believe she risked her whole career for what, $200? Absolutely not. Can y'all believe this? I know the last stream was okay. I don't know. I can try to put the microphone on if y'all think it's better. Let me see. I'll do that. And I can reread it again too. Hold on. Ain't even coming on here. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. Is that better, guys? Is that better? Let me know if this is better. And I'll go back to the beginning. It wasn't that bad of a read. I'll go to the beginning. You said yes, it's better. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. You know, I get into it with my emotions. Okay, let's start from the top. Leticia James was a resident of Brooklyn, New York, and the borrower on a Fannie Mae backed mortgage loan for the property located on Perone Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia. OVM Financial, also known as Old Virginia Mortgage, and Annie Mac was a mortgage lending business located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, engaged in the business of originating and underwriting residential mortgage loans, including those backed by the Federal National Mortgage Association or Fannie Mae. OVM Financial qualified as a financial institution within the meaning of 18 U.S.C. Section 20 sub 10. Okay. Fannie Mae was a federally chartered corporation that purchased and guaranteed mortgages, operating as a government-sponsored enterprise under the oversight of the Federal Housing Agency, or the FHFA. First Savings Bank was a state charter FDIC insured financial institution headquartered in Jeffersonville, Indiana, which acquired mortgage loans through assignment or acquisition. First Savings Bank qualified as a financial institution within the meaning of 18 U.S.C. Section 20 sub 1. On or about August 17, 2020, James, a sole borrower, purchased the 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom property on Perone Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia. Hereinafter is going to be Perone property for approximately $137,000, financed with a mortgage loan of approximately $109,600. So looks like she might have put a down payment of about $20,000. The loan was originated by OVM Financial under a signed second home rider, which required James, as the sole borrower, to occupy and use the property as her secondary residence and prohibited its use as a time-sharing or other shared ownership arrangement or agreement that requires her either to rent the property or give any other person any control over the occupancy or use of the property. So she wasn't supposed to rent it out, but she had to use it as a secondary home. So obviously they knew she had a first home. Despite these representations, the Perone property was not occupied or used by James as a secondary residence and was instead used as a rental investment property, renting the property to a family of 3. This misrepresentation allowed James to obtain a favorable loan terms not available for investment properties, including a note rate of 3%, avoiding a 0.815% higher comparable investment property rate of 3.815, resulting in approximately $17,837 in rate savings over the life of the loan. A seller credit of approximately $3,288, exceeding the seller credit for investment properties by approximately $1,096. Save $1,000 and say 0.815% by actually using it as a rental property as opposed to a second residence is what they are alleging, for a total of ill-gotten gains of approximately $18,933. So let me see. I'm going to see if this is a 30-year loan. Let's see what a 30-year loan is. What they say she saved? Because I can't. 18,933 divided by a 30-year mortgage, $631 a year. Now, let's just say it was a 15-year. 18,933 divided by 15, she would have saved $1,262 a year. Okay, let's go on. Somebody. Trump said his 1,100 square apartment was 33,000 square feet, and helped me to understand how this is on that level. She didn't have friends at Deutsche Bank and private equity to give her the favorable loans. I don't know. It's StreamYard. Yeah, I heard StreamYard was doing that, but I didn't have that problem on the last live. Maybe it was because I was talking about Rock Nation, because the clout Rock Nation has over here on this internet, allegedly. All right. James universal property application for homeowners insurance indicated owner occupied non-seasonal use, further misrepresenting the intended use of the property. James filed a Schedule E tax form under penalties of perjury, treating the Perone property as rental real estate, reporting fair rental days, 0 personal use days, thousands of dollars in rents received, and claiming deductions for expenses related to the property, further contradicting the second Oh my God, this mic muted again. Jesus, why is this mic keep muting? Hold on. Having me working this hard. This is really a struggle stream. I don't know what is going on here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Jesus, what part did I stop at? When you stop hearing? 10 minutes? Elite Leo, I know you got to be playing. Jesus. All right, I'm not going to reread all of it. I'll go to them counts again, though. StreamYard keep kicking me off of my sound. Like, what is going on here? It's still... Oh, Jesus. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, can you hear me? It's saying you could hear me on here. I don't know what to say. Okay, I don't know what to say. When I was doing the calculations, it went out. Oh, Jesus. That was a long time ago. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I should have just went to bed like I planned on it. All right. So I did my calculations. So now you got James Universal Property Application for Homeowners Insurance, indicated owner occupied non-seasonal use, further misrepresented the intended use of the property. James filed Schedule E tax forms under penalties of perjury, treating the Perron property as rental real estate, reporting fair rental days, 0 personal use days, thousands of dollars in rents received, and claiming deductions for expenses relating to the property, further contradicting the second home classification. This better be off. The loan was acquired by or assigned to First Savings Bank by March 2021, exposing it to risks associated with the misrepresented loans. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear all that? Huh? Can we get into the counts now? I think that's what she said, that she bought it with her niece or something, or a family member, I think is what she said. I gotta see if she does the statement while I'm on here. I'm on the struggle stream. Leticia might have done talked to everything. I don't know. I'm on here trying to get the indictment out. Y'all go follow me on Instagram and stuff if you haven't already, and over on TikTok. I gotta do a video on TikTok for Cardi B. She got another lawsuit too. But I ain't gonna do 3 today. I'm not doing all that. Whew. Let me see if she has something today, something to say. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's happening. This typically doesn't happen if you're new here. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna see if she got anything to say. Okay, she reacts. Hold on.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country.
Girl, talk your talk.
This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence, not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Quote the scripture.
We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job.
All right. She has spoken. Somebody said the niece put out a statement. Let me see what the niece's statement is. Hold on. Leticia James niece statement. See if I can find it. I don't see it, y'all, so you have to send it to me. So, okay. So Leticia has quoted her scripture, says she got God on her side. Okay, now the counts, because I know it went out. So this is what she is accused of: bank fraud from on or about August 7, 2020 through at least January 2024 in the Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere. The defendant, Leticia James, did knowingly execute and attempt to execute a scheme and artifice to defraud OVM Financial and First Savings Bank, financial institutions, and to obtain monies, funds, and credits owned by and under the custody and control of OVM Financial and First Savings Bank by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. The scheme involved falsely representing the Perone property as a secondary residence to obtain favorable mortgage terms. I just don't see how favorable these terms are. I mean, 3.3% to 3.815. When I think of favorable, I think y'all offering me 12%. But if I say it this way, then I'm going to get 7%, or I'm going to get 5%, or here I'm going to get 2.2%. That's what I think fair. But saying I get a fraction of a percentage and I'm going to save $600 a year, when, let me tell you why this don't make sense. Why it doesn't make sense is if she's getting rental property. She's not, it's profit for her. So why would you not just, if you really cared about a percentage of a little percentage, an increment of a percent, why not just charge it to your tenant if you're using it as a rental property? It wouldn't come out of her pocket anyway. It got to be some type of mens rea on here. I just don't see it. Yes, Marilyn Mosby's situation was crazy too to me. And she ended up where I think one of her charges ended up getting overturned in the Court of Appeals. That's not, I don't know. Apparently they're saying that she was going to save it. And then that's the last I heard is people were like, I'm not bringing these charges against her. So he fired them, just like what happened with Eric Adams. When they didn't want to bring charges and they was like, no, we think Eric Adams did everything we said he did and we got plenty of evidence. I'm not going to. I have to uphold the law. And with Eric Adams, because they wouldn't, she said, well, if you want me to do it, then I have to put in my 2 weeks, but I would like to just talk to you about it and show you my evidence, because you're saying you're acknowledging you want this case dismissed and you don't even know the evidence in the case. I haven't reviewed the case. And they were like, we accept your resignation. Then whoever was under her didn't want to do it, so they ended up quitting. I mean, then eventually Pam Bondi, I think she made an appearance herself. This is crazy. You don't remember what she did to Trump, B50? Could y'all tell him what she did to Trump? They had to try, they came up with 18,000 and something odd dollars. But she took, let me see how much money Trump had to pay in his case. New York fraud. On appeals, and a court in New York voided the nearly $500 million civil fraud penalty against Donald Trump and his company in August 2025. While the findings of fraud was upheld, the financial penalty was dismissed as excessive and in violation of the U.S. Constitution, Eighth Amendment. A New York state judge initially ordered Trump and his companies to pay $355 million in fines in February 2024 with prejudgment interest. The total owed ballooned to over $450 million, combined with penalties for his sons Eric and Donald Jr. The total sum exceeded $500 million. The appeals court reversed. Following Trump's appeal, a New York appellate court threw out the monetary penalty in August 2025. While disagreeing on certain aspects of the case, a majority of the judges agreed the $500 million financial penalty was disproportionate to the harm caused. Before this ruling, an appeals court had already reduced the bond Trump needed to post to cover the judgment during his appeal from the full amount to $175 million. That bond will now be returned. Remaining penalties and appeals, the appeals court upheld other non-monetary penalties against the Trump organization and its executives, including restrictions on their ability to do business in New York and the oversight of an independent monitor. New York Attorney General Leticia James has stated her intention to appeal the court's decision to New York's highest court. So y'all want to ask me what she did again? Well, block them, Miss HLS. Don't let them just stop by. Just block them. Block them so they have to start a whole new page just to see me, because you know they be caring like that. Crazy. Well, honey, let me just warn you on this good replay. It was choppy. I had to reread it. It was a lot going on. So I don't know. Count one is bank. I'd be interested to see, like, in there, similar to like the Diddy case, where they were told when for policy reasons when you should bring certain actions like the Mann Act, if they got that for these type of allegations. But anyway, count two is false statements of a financial institution. So from on or about July 28, 2020 through at least August 31st, 2020 in the Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere, the defendant did knowingly making calls to be made false statements and reports for the purpose of influence the action of OVM Financial, a Fannie Mae backed lender, upon an application for a loan. In the James represented and affirmed a uniform residential loan application and related documents that the Perone property would be used as a secondary residence, when in truth and fact, as James then knew, the property was intended and used as an investment property with no intended or actual personal occupancy or use by her. Then there is a forfeiture, of course, anything that's derived from you committing a crime. You'll try to take whatever that property is up to, they said, with $18,933. Have to prove, so it's a mens rea. So yeah, you said did knowingly making calls to be made false statements. So yes, they have to prove the mens rea of knowingly. And that's the same thing with the bank fraud too. So you guys are correct. Thank y'all for the super chats telling me you can't hear me, but I get reading, and then unfortunately I don't be paying the chat attention when I'm reading because I'm trying to get through it. But that's that, y'all. I don't know what to say. Tisha James, you had James call me the other week, and now you got Leticia James. So did anybody say something about the niece? Let me see. The niece said they bought the house together. Let me see what she said about the house in the first place, because I vaguely remember it. Buying. Let me do it up here. Make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Let's see. James' defense. In response to the charges, James' lawyers have maintained her innocence and provided an alternate explanation for the mortgage application, mistaken paperwork. Her legal team acknowledges that one document mistakenly listed the Virginia property as her principal residence. However, they say James later sent a statement to the mortgage broker clarifying that she would not be living there. So they're saying they got a document that she clarified. Property for her niece. According to James and her attorney, the home was purchased to help her niece, who uses the property as her primary residence. Evidence from the niece. James' niece reportedly testified before the grand jury and provided testimony that supported James' claim that she did not intend to commit fraud. So the niece was in front of the. Ooh, hold on. Let's pull that up. This is from the Washington Post. Let's see. So the niece went in front of the grand jury. Interesante. Oh man, they gonna make me pay for something because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I ain't gonna know about that. Let me go find another one. Y'all not gonna have me buy all these periodicals like I was doing for Whitehead. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Let me see. Let's see. This gotta be. Are they the only ones got anything update? Yeah, I don't see it. I need to send this one. So yeah, there's that. I didn't see the news. Yep. Let me see. Let me see. Well, it sounds like I said, that the niece might have testified in front of the grand jury. So Lindsay Halligan, that is the acting U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, said in a statement, "No one is above the law." Okay, let me put up her statement. It's about as fast reading as this indictment was because it ain't much to say. New York State Attorney General indicted. Lindsay Halligan, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, announced today that a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging New York State Attorney General Leticia James with bank fraud and false statements. No one is above the law. The charges as alleged in this case represent intentional criminal acts and tremendous breaches of the public trust. The facts and the law in this case are clear, and we will continue following them to ensure that justice is served. If convicted, Leticia James faces penalties including up to 30 years in prison per count, up to $1 million fine on each count, and forfeiture. Actual sentences for federal crimes are typically less than the maximum penalties. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. So she didn't say much. I can't. Let me look up this statute real quick so I can see bank fraud, 18 USC. 18 USC 1344. What's the statute of limitation on this one? We got a 10-year statute of limitation, so that ain't, I guess that ain't no TD said, imagine a bunch of felonious criminals trying to hold someone else accountable. I heard Lindsay is an insurance lawyer, is she? Lindsay Halligan. Let me look her up. Attorney Lindsay Halligan. She was the private attorney for Donald Trump at one point. Hold on. Let's look her up here. I've never heard of her. According to her wiki, she's an American lawyer who serves as the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. So she's filling in. Since September 2025, Halligan served as special assistant to the president and White House senior associate staff secretary from January to September 2025. So before he appointed her as the intern, Halligan began her career as an insurance lawyer and became a partner at Cole, Scott & Cassane in 2018. In 2022, then former President Donald Trump named Halligan to his legal team. She was involved in litigation involving the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago. That was favorable for him. Halligan continued working with Trump on several other legal efforts. In January 2025, Trump named Halligan as the White House Senior Associate Staff Secretary. She advocated for actions against exhibits at Smithsonian Institution museums that she saw as disparaging the United States. So what are those, like the slavery exhibits or something? In September, Trump forced the interim United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, from his position over his handling of his office's investigation into Trump opponents. He named Halligan, who has had no prosecutorial experience, as the interim U.S. attorney and nominated her for the position. She's like, what, 35 years old? I'm like, she almost the same age as my kid. And I'm not even like joking. I got a kid almost her age. So she's a daughter of what? Family law attorney. Her sister is a family law attorney who ran as a Republican in the 2016 election for Colorado House of Rep 4th District. And she got her Juris Doctorate in 2013. And she worked at the Public Defender's Office. She worked as a deco model in 2012. She interned for the Innocence Project. That's interesting. She competed in the Miss Colorado USA pageant in 2009 and 2010, reaching the semifinals and earning third runner-up. So that is that Virginia, the Virginia acting U.S. attorney over there that has indicted. Really? Oh, wow. Y'all be paying a whole lot of attention. I don't even be paying attention. Look up the Comey arraignment transcript. What's in those? Something happened, something explosive. Let me see. Or are you asking me to just do that? Because yeah, I never really even looked at the Comey on case like that. But yeah. All right, y'all. Well, there's that. Always some breaking news somewhere. But anyway, we out of here. Sorry again about the struggle string. Basically, all she gave was her name in court regarding Comey. To show that she's not eligible for either case. What do you mean she's not eligible? What do you mean? I'll be interested to know. And y'all, anytime, if anybody, that I see every now and then at least and recognize your name, if you have anything that you want to explain or say, you can always come onto the platform. I do put the link out there. But I don't want to just put it out there for, random people going to come up and try to be nasty or something, because they do that as well. The appointment. Oh, okay. Wow. Yes, please tap that thumbs up on your way out. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram and TikTok, go over there. I think I'm going to do just a short video on another Cardi B lawsuit that I found, because it's going to be real quick. So I don't want to have to do a third video. Right. I want y'all to watch these videos and run these numbers up. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with your girl again. It's the second time today. I don't think I'm coming back today, but heck, who knows? Who knows what might happen? But until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.